13 days to the Qatar 2022 World Cup, and we're still bringing you updates on the Ghana Black Stars, our situation and everything. I'll be predicting the group stages and the entire tournament of the World Cup on my third channel, SF Sports. I'll do the group stages on that one, and we'll do the knockout phases prediction here on this channel. If you've not subscribed, be sure to subscribe to that one. I'll leave it in the comments box and also in the description. Today we're going to talk about Coach Otto Addo here, and when he will be released by Borussia Dortmund to come to Ghana to help us with preparations for the World Cup. The World Cup timing is quite unfortunate, but Otto Addo is the head coach and he has to be there. When he will be released, I'll be revealing that to you today. Also going to talk about comments from Akonnor. In an interview he granted Joy Prime, he revealed interference in player selection when he was head coach of the Ghana Black Stars, which we have known for a while now. We'll look at that today. We're also going to talk about some injury situations which we need to watch out for in the Ghana Black Stars team. Over the weekend, as you might have been aware, Daniel Kofi was not in action, and it's going to be an injury worry for most of the technical team members. We'll have a look at some players who could be having some niggles here and there. We're also going to talk about Jojo Walcott, who has been tipped by Boubacar Damba to be the #1 in posts for Ghana. We'll have a listen to him and you let me know what you think. As usual, subscribe if you have not, click on the notification bell to get more updates. Keep the votes coming in also if you are still voting. The YouTube Creator Award Sports category Sahara Football has been nominated, and keep the votes coming in. I'll leave a link to it in the description. Over the weekend, Thomas Partey was immense for Arsenal versus Chelsea, and owing to that, his side got all 3 points. This video clip here that I chanced upon on social media just epitomizes and personifies what Partey has been to Arsenal this season. He's being called the glue that keeps Arsenal and everyone together and has them performing at the optimum best. Hopefully he does the same for the Ghana Black Stars in Qatar 2022. And talking about Qatar 2022 and the arrival of players, and the earliest you can get them is on the 14th. This week will be the final round of fixtures in the various leagues as we prepare for Qatar, which is just 13 days away. We know it is not the best of times, but Otto Addo also doubles as the coach, trainer, scout for Borussia Dortmund. He has some work to do with them as he is under a contractual agreement. When will Otto Addo be released? Well, the reports coming in say that Ghana coach Otto Addo will be released at the earliest next week, and we'll have the little over 10 or 12 days before our very first game to prepare for it. And it's not the optimum best, but it is what we can work with. Otto Addo's part-time status also comes into question here. The fact that the coach might probably be behind in terms of arriving in camp ahead of some players. Not that will be the first time that has happened, but that is what we have to deal with. Coach Otto Addo will join the camp next week as we prepare for our very first game the following week. Before then, we'll play Switzerland next week on the 17th of November. So mark it in your calendar. Switzerland games on the 17th, Ghana, Portugal 24th. So we'll be following things closely and letting you know how things go on that front. Otto Addo set to join the camp next week. Akonnor spoke with Joy Sports, and he revealed that there were interferences during his time as head coach of the Ghana Black Stars, and these are some of the quotes from that interview, which I'm still watching. But he said it's public knowledge. Many people out there just talk, but they have no idea what is happening inside. Apart from COVID, it was a challenge controlling player call-ups. Having a final say on player selection was a challenge. And there were times I was so frustrated and I didn't want to call certain players. It got to a point I wasn't going to call Emmanuel Lomote again. You remember that time Lomote was always called by Akonnor. A lot of I was complaining and all that. Turns out CK was not a big fan of the guy, and probably he was being forced to call him. It's quite unfortunate, but this confirms a lot of the things we've known for a while now. At least a former coach has come to say it out loud here, and I have to say it's been quite unfortunate that this is still happening. Player selection interference is an issue which has not helped any of us, especially those concerned with the football fraternity. We know that player selection, players are forced down the throats of coaches, and it does not help them to achieve what they want to achieve. Hopefully, it changes, but it doesn't look like that is going to happen. Considering the 55 Otto Addo called, considering that some have not even played as much football this season, considering that there were more deserving players to be called, there'll still be that talk of player interference in terms of selection. The next story has to do with some injury concerns that could be worrying the Ghana Black Stars. Over the weekend, some players did not play, and several players are reportedly trying to cover up some injuries and playing down injury concerns ahead of the World Cup. No one wants to miss it. The unfit players, according to reports, are believed to be concealing injuries rather than pull themselves out of the World Cup due to their setback. Just 13 days left for the tournament to start in Qatar. Players are determined to make the cut for the World Cup in order to possibly increase their worth on the market and for financial gains both to the player and their respective clubs. With huge financial windfall for players and clubs, it stands to reason why both parties will be hiding injuries ahead of the global tournament. Now, the world governing body will distribute more than $200 million to clubs whose players participate in the World Cup in the winter window. The game's global governing body confirmed the details of its club benefits program, announcing $209 million had been set aside. FIFA anticipates that the scheme will mean a payment of $10,000 per player for each day he remains with his national team at the World Cup. And now it's understood that the several top players of the Black Stars are either hiding injuries or downplaying the extent or damage in a bid to force themselves into the 26-man squad. Another player, Tariq Lamptey, was on a youth substitute over the weekend for Brighton over Albion vs Wolves. Lamptey was an youth substitute in that game at the Molineux at Middlesbrough. Antoine Semenyo is believed not to be fully fit. I don't know how true this is, but I think Semenyo is not one of those players. He is 100% fit. Another player who is probably having an issue now, and that was announced last week, is Kamaldeen Sulemana. The medical team of the Black Stars are facing a lot of worries now, considering Kamaldeen Sulemana could also be out of this one. So Tariq Lamptey being a new substitute, should that leave us worried? The likes of Kamaldeen Sulemana, are these players worries we should have ahead of the World Cup? Well, we have some injury concerns, and it's being believed that players are hiding injuries. Whether you hide an injury or not, eventually it will be to your detriment if it exacerbates. I think it will be in your best interest to have it done. If you can play through the pain, fine for you, but I do not honestly think this is a right move for any player to make, no matter the tournament you are going into and what it can bring to you. Kamaldeen, Tariq Lamptey, two players who might have injury causes. Daniel Kofi Tre as well, not in action over the weekend, also an injured out, and also Alexander Jiku. Jiku Haraba is back from injury. He played over the weekend in that loss for his club side Strasbourg. My final story has to do with Abubakar Damba and his thoughts on who should be number one in post for the Black Stars. The former Ghana international believes Jojo Allocott has the best chance to start for Ghana at the upcoming World Cup. The Charlton Athletic goalkeeper has been Ghana's first choice for the past year, with Chidofori, Atizigi, Danlad and Mana filling in on various occasions. We played the qualifiers and had one goalkeeper who had shown consistencies throughout. That is Jojo Allocott, most used among all the goalkeepers so far. All things being equal, he might be the first choice, Damba said in an interview with the Ghana news agency. One of our challenges is that we have goalkeepers who are very gifted in the team. In as much as we would not be satisfied with their performances because of comparisons. We see other goalkeepers playing for their clubs and their nations performing well, so we do comparisons. But I'm very positive that we can do well. The aforementioned names are on the preliminary list for the Ghana Black Stars ahead of the World Cup. Do you agree with him? Joe Allocott our best? tipping him to start. Over the weekend, Richard Ofori won a trophy with his club side, Orlando Pirates. Many of you are saying he is the one to be imposed. Still think that? Let me know what you think in the comments box about Damba's comments on who should be starting for us. So that has been it for today. Damba thinks Jojo Aloko to give us the best chance in Qatar. Also, we're talking about Partey's influence. Also, been looking at injury concerns and players covering them up, as well as Otto Addo's release date to join the Ghana national team ahead of Qatar. I'll see you guys in the next one. Enjoy the week.